Hello.
Ciao. Ciao,
You there?
everyone. This is Esther.
Alfred here from Sicily.
And I'm reporting from Boston. Don't know if you guys saw the last video, but I flew back home to do a little business, be with my family, but we'll be back in Sicily later this month. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are doing great. We're going to open up to questions in just a little bit, but we thought we'd give you a little bit of an update on the latest travel here in or there in Sicily and Italy. Alfred, there are two dates to keep in mind. April 1st,
What are they?
April 1st,
Okay.
and May 1st. March
Okay.
31st, the state of emergency is set to expire here in Italy. You will no longer need to have, the super green pass that we've been talking about for months. The super green pass is a requirement to be vaccinated. You will need it in a lot of places, but you will not need a green pass to eat outdoors in restaurants. That's a good news. You still will have to have it when eating indoors until May 1st. You'll also need a vaccination proof if you want to go to concerts, to theaters, to the gym, to things like that. So things are easing up. You will also need to wear a mask indoors until May 1st. There's several other little bits of information and things that you can and can't do. But for now, that is good news here in Italy.
So does May 1st mean that it's a lot better than April 1st, Esther?
Well, basically, May
I mean,
1st.
all our groups are coming in May, so I'm
Yeah.
sure they're going to want to know what's the
Yeah.
scoop in May.
So in
May
May,
1st.
you will no longer need a green pass to eat indoors, wellness centers, cinemas, theaters, concerts, also religious ceremonies like baptisms, weddings, if you're coming here for a family wedding or baptism or anything like that. Uh, Also, no more at the gyms, at pools, at places like that. So it's good news
Oh,
here
good.
to travel to Italy. Now, the travel requirements to come into Italy have also changed, whereas before, even if you were vaccinated, you had to have a test. No more. But if you're unvaccinated, you can still come, but you will have to be tested. So those are some good things happening here. So I'm looking forward to a great May and June travel season here in Sicily.
Me too. Me too. Before we get started, I need to make a couple of housekeeping announcements, if you don't mind.
Go ahead,
Today's my
honey.
daughter Jennifer's birthday, my eldest. So I have to say
Auguri.
happy birthday to Jennifer. And also, I want to say a shout out to my son Matthew. Matthew, who I'm wearing an Austin Prep hat because there's a red hot rumor that his son MJ may, in fact, be attending Austin Prep.
That's awesome, honey.
So I'm really
Wow.
happy about that. I'm seriously very,
Auguri.
very
Hey, how's
happy.
the
He'll make a.
weather there?
The weather has been beautiful today, but at nighttime it still gets cold. Hence, I have on the turtleneck and the thing. But during the daytime, it's nice and warm. The sun's shining. Spring is springing. Let me tell you something. Spring is springing. Today, when I went out, I noticed they're selling the sunflowers all over the place. So too bad you weren't here, Buncer. I would buy you some sunflowers,
That's my
like
favorite. That's my favorite flower, sunflowers.
like like seven of them. But by the time you get back, they probably because they're in the little plants. I don't know if you can replant those things or whatever. Peter Schiapoletti would know if you could replant them. I don't know if you can replant them. But that's
Hey,
it. There's
listen, did you
lots of
go
stuff
hey,
happening.
did you go buy some Easter goodies? Let me see what you got.
Okay. Well, the first thing I got for the kids next door and for Stefania's kids are the Easter bunnies that look like this.
Yeah,
They're
what brand
from
is that?
Lint.
Is that
Lint.
Godiva?
Lint.
Lynn?
No, it's Lint. Yeah, Lint's a good brand. These are made over here in Italy. These are solid too. They're not hollow. So I figured, they'd
Ooh,
be
that'll
pretty good.
last a
I got a
while.
bunch of them. I got one for Giovanni. I got one for Viviana, and I got one for Tommaso, and the other two over here. And the only ones I have to pick up now for those are Vanessa's kids and Gabriella's kids, which I'll do later on. Okay, little by little. And then the Cadura. I was talking about these things last week, and I didn't have one, so I went out and I bought one just to show you what they look like. I'm sure you've seen these.
A
These
cadura
are
di
the biscotti.
uova.
Yeah, they're biscotti cookies, and they have the hard-boiled egg on them. This is a single egg. They also have them double eggs, and this cost me €1.50, something like that. But to make these is really simple. I mean, I was talking to the baker today about making these, and essentially he told me just get yourself a good biscotti recipe. Here's a biscotti, right? A
Hmm.
normal biscotti, which by the way is so good. Get yourself a normal biscotti recipe that you can get up online. And what you do is you first boil the hard boiled eggs, and then you put it right in the batter, and then you can coat even the egg with something like a egg or something like that, and you
Yeah, you
sprinkle
brush
it
it to make
with the
it
little
shiny.
sprinkles, with the
Yeah.
little yeah, with the little sprinkles, and then you cook it, and then you let it cool, and they're very delicious. I remember in the States we used to have those things here, but it's surprising how the proliferation of Easter stuff, commercial Easter stuff, uh, the last 10 or 15 years has spread. I mean, really, it's like crazy. I
Yeah,
remember
but
10 or 15 years ago, it
predominantly,
would be,
Alfred, predominantly you
yeah,
walk into every store and there are a million types of Colombo cakes, just like the Pandora during Christmas. But you're right. I mean, a lot of Easter stuff is definitely all over the place and all over Sicily. But it's fun to see that, and the kids love that, Alfred.
I don't mind that. I really don't mind the, I'm losing my, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. I don't mind the Columba cakes and stuff. What I do mind is the Easter Bunny being all over the place. I don't remember seeing the Easter Bunny
Why?
10 years ago, 15, because it wasn't an Italian thing. Over here, it was more of a religious thing, the fight between the forces of darkness on Good Friday and the forces of whiteness, and then on Easter, the resurrection. It was really more of a religious type of holiday. But the malls started with the big Easter bunnies and Easter candy, and now the kids. Once the kids, pick up on this stuff, forget it. That's what they're gonna want. They're gonna want the Easter bunnies. They're
Alfred,
gonna want the Easter eggs,
I've
stuff like
celebrated
that.
Easter in Sicily, I've always remembered it to be, very religious, very beautiful. You said we have Good Friday, then you have Easter, then you have Little Easter on Monday. Still a very religious celebration, but a lot of that stuff, it's commercialism. What are you going to do about it? But listen,
Um,
back to your kudura. I
yeah.
remember one of the bakers also told me that it's a little bit harder. You can make it a more of a crunchier, not like flaky biscotti like you were showing, more of a harder
Yeah, these guys
biscotti.
are hard. Not that hard, but
No, the other
they're good.
one, the kudura is crunchy, isn't it?
Not so bad. You know what the difference is between the Cadura and a biscotti and the American recipes?
What?
The lack of sugar. There's a lot more sugar in the American products than there are here.
Yeah.
So when you eat a cookie, it tastes good, but it doesn't taste
It's not
overly sweet, especially if you don't
overwhelmingly
have,
sweet. Yeah, I remember.
right. I mean, that's a
I
big
want to
difference.
know if when you're watching this, if what kind of Easter traditions do you have in your family? Did you have a kudura di uva or some kind of other biscotti? I'm always interested to hear what other people do during the celebrations, the Easter celebrations. So that's a really, really fun thing. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Al.
What I was going to say is that St. Joseph just got over
Hmm.
and St. Patrick just got over. And in celebration of St. Joseph and St. Patrick, I'm going to have a Sandafiu drink of my famous Jameson's today. Why not, right? It's after 6 o'clock. So
Nice,
what can I
very
say?
nice.
You having
Sounds
you
good.
having all these comments over here. Who's commenting over here?
Well, James wants to know if you still CDC card works. Yes, it does. If you're an American coming here to Italy, then a CDC does suffice? So that's a good question, Jimmy. A lot of
Yeah, you should have if you have a card, bring it, obviously.
now the big
That makes
thing that people should keep in mind if you're coming to Italy as an American and going back to the United States is that you do have to have a COVID test before boarding a flight to the United States. That's really important.
Well, we take care of that over here. They're about €15, aren't they? They're not the $200 variety like there are in the States by the airport. Am I correct in saying that, Esther?
Jerry Genovesi, so good to see my friend Jerry. I was just thinking of you. I'm going to send you a message offline. That is so cool to see her here as well. And she's moving here soon. How's that going, Jerry? I'm very curious.
She's also
Um,
selling her car. So if anybody needs a nice car, she's got a really beautiful car that she's going to be leaving behind in the States. So if anybody, and she's in Florida, I believe. That's where she lives, doesn't she? So if anybody, I
down in
think it's
Florida.
Florida. If anybody needs a car, give Jerry a call. It'd be nice if she can sell that car and take all that money, and then she could buy me and she could buy Esther a nice present.
Jody is in Labrizzi. So happy to experience sunshine today. It was a great weather day to hang the
Yes, it
laundry
was.
outside. That's
Yes, it
awesome.
was. She's actually correct.
Yeah, okay. So James, I did buy my niece, or actually Stefania bought my niece, and I bought my niece a big one of those big eggs, and they're filled with good stuff. So we will open that up and show it to you. Now I saw some of those big Easter eggs for sale for like €50, even more expensive. I mean, they can be quite expensive. uh, Hey, yes, Lord, I want to buy a small car to leave here and a car there, but I heard it's easier to buy a house there than a car. Al, you want to answer
Well, the
that?
problem is with the car. The problem with the car is this: is that within 1 year, you have to get an Italian license. Okay, which is a pain in the ass, a real pain in the ass, because the test is given in
In
Italian.
Italian.
So here it is. The Italian authorities are begging for people from the United States to come here and buy houses, yet they hamstring them because the test is extraordinarily difficult, the multiple choice test, and it's not in English, okay, which to me is ridiculous, okay? Then once you get a license, they put you on a horsepower restricted uh, thing for a year. So, say for example, you want to drive, do have a four wheel drive car. You can't. You have to drive a little putt putt around until that year is uh, finished. In other words, they give you zero credit for being a perfect driver for 40 years in the States. It
Al, you
is
can't,
ridiculous,
so you can't
ridiculous.
get by with an international driver's license alone?
If once you're coming here, yes, if you're coming here for short stays, 3 months, etc., 6 months, etc., up to a year, that's okay. But it's not a license, Esther. It's a permit, an international driver's permit. Once you come to Italy, and you got to live here like Jerry. She's going to have to struggle and take that. She's going to have to struggle and take that test, like Anthony did. Remember Anthony,
Yeah,
our
I
pal
remember.
Anthony?
It took him a while to pass it. We have a
Yeah,
huge
but he was
treat.
getting stopped by the cops. He was getting stopped by the cops because they knew him. It was freaking ridiculous. This guy is like a great driver, and they busted his chops needlessly. These little towns over there. So that's a pain in the neck, in my
What
opinion.
a treat to see Thomas and Karen Gulati on here live. He wants to know
Haha.
what kind of treats are in the large Easter eggs filled with. You know what? All types of little toys, sometimes like plastic little toys, or sometimes with more candy, or even little bags with like jelly bean type of stuff. So the brand I bought for my niece is brand new. So I'm going to be very interested to see what they're filled with. Uh, Tom,
Kids love Kinder, the brand Kinder,
Kinder
made
is
by
sweet.
Nestle, I believe.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking of Tom and Karen because I was watching that video we did together where we sampled some Crispellis last fall. for some reason,
About
to
time for
scrape
me to have some. I haven't had any
came across. You
months.
haven't had any for a month for sure.
Months.
Jody, good
It's
point.
unfair, I'm telling you.
1 year from your residency rate
Right,
date, you have
right.
to have that. What are the penalties for no license, Alfred?
It's huge. It's a minimum of €300 for the first time, okay?
Hmm.
And confiscation of the car, okay? They'll confiscate the car. And if you don't have insurance, you're doubly screwed or triply screwed, okay? Try it a second time and they're going to put you in cuffs, okay? So it's really ridiculous. Like I'm saying,
Very,
here it is
very
on the
strict.
one. Yeah, they're crying poor mouth. They want all these beautiful towns. Yeah, and you know who doesn't have any seeds and speaks up is the freaking mayors of these towns. You'd think that they would say, look it, come to our town, take this house for $1, and we're going to help you with your Italian driver's license. How the hell are you going to get to a market from a little town that's in East, you know where, to go food shopping if you don't have a car? What are you going to do? Take
Yeah.
a burro? I mean, it's ridiculous.
That is a good point. When coming here to Italy and Sicily, a lot of people ask, do we need a car or can we just get by with public transportation? And I strongly urge people to do get a car. While there is great public transportation, there's metros, there's trains, there's buses, you're not sure where they're going to be dropping you off. So you're going to have to get a car, a taxi to go to your next spot anyway. And, it's just for comfort. It's just better to have a car. You can go at your own time table, and it's just much easier. So that's my recommendation. There were some problems with renter cars, but they are starting to fill the fleets up. It can be pretty costly at this point, not only because there were some shortages, but also because the cost of fuel has gone up. But they are available; they are out there. Let me.
But wait a minute. Here's the other side of the story. E. Okay, there's a lot of people out of work over here. Okay, so if you have a neighbor that you're pally pally with, and you don't have a car, offer to pay him some money for him to take you to places A, B, and C. He'll jump at it because he has no cash. You'll have to pay the gas and give the guy maybe €15 or €20 for the day. He'll be very appreciative. There are more than one ways to skin a cat. Okay,
You're
that's
right.
just my view.
Good point.
Just my view. Thank
Ciao,
you.
guys. Love your show. Any rationing of certain goods in Italy due to the supply chain distributions? And do you feel this may affect tourism? So we did
No.
a video maybe a couple weeks ago, Alfred, when we went to one of the stores, and there
Yeah.
were some shortages, but it was for one day. There was a little bit of a fear and tension over threats that the truck haulers would strike. So people took to the supermarkets and bought some things, but within 24 to 48 hours, they were restocked. And before I left, I also went to the supermarket, and things were pretty stocked up. Now, what some supermarkets did during this period, where there were the threats of striking, is that some items they limited the quantity, but not everything. So, go ahead,
Wait a
Alfred.
minute. Let me bring you up to date over here. Okay. There is no shortage of anything in Sicily. Period. End of sentence. Okay. Now I saw last year the shortages in the United States for toilet paper, paper towels, a whole plethora of items. We never had that here. There was one day's worth of panic buying
Yeah.
because for two reasons. Number one, that's all it was panic buying because the long haul truckers
Yeah, honey, I said
were
that.
threatening to, right. But what you didn't say is that the government has addressed that.
Yeah.
Okay, the government has addressed that. They've cut down taxes and this and that, so these guys are not beefing anymore. Okay, so the shelves are completely stocked. Now I've been there twice this week. I've gone to two different markets, and I go there just to check. By the way, all right,
Yeah.
prices have not gone up. As a matter of fact, here's what some companies are doing. This is a righteous thing. Maybe they ought to do this in the United States. Poyardi pasta, for example, today I bought a kilo, that's 2.2 pounds of fusilli for 95 cents. 95 cents for 2.2 pounds, a huge bag, okay? Barbera oil. I bought a 1 liter bottle for €8, okay? Now, those prices that I'm talking to you right now for imported pasta in the States are probably double or triple, okay? So it's far cheaper for the average Sicilian here to maintain decent cost of living, despite the fact that the prices of gas has gone up, not
Yeah.
only here, but worldwide.
But the
That's
government
just
is talking about capping some of those prices. They are talking about helping everyday citizens get through this. So it's not. So the question
right.
was back. Let me go back to the question. Do you feel this may affect tourism? And the answer is no. I saw Stefania is
No,
here, and Stefania, if you have any comments or opinions about this, would love to hear from you because she sort of goes to some other shops in our area. So I'm curious what she has seen.
she gave me a
Joe,
good recipe this morning, Esther. Hold on, before you move off of
yeah,
Stefania. I sent her a message. I says, I'm going to the market. I want to make some minestrone soup. What's your
hmm
opinion of those frozen minestrone ones, and which brand do you use?
and what
So
did she say?
she
She
uses
probably
this
said I'd
brand.
make it fresh.
No, 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 no. She uses this brand called Findus,
hmm
Findus. All right. So when I went there today, I made it a point to buy Findus. That's the brand minestrone, and I also bought Findus fava.
Good.
So I'm
I'm
gonna make
curious how that's
now.
going to turn out.
I asked her what she put in her minestrone. The first thing she does is she uses a pressure cooker. We don't use a pressure cooker. She uses a pressure cooker, and all she does is put EVOO, salt, pepper, and water in it. She puts the vegetables in it, and then she lets the pressure cooker do its thing.
Well,
And maybe some what's it called? Red pepper flakes,
now that sounds
as
just
opposed.
like the fava bean stew or soup we did, which, by the way, did you guys see on our channel a few weeks ago? I published a fava bean stew. That's all we did was put a little bit of olive oil, the vegetables, cook them a little bit, then add some water. Let me
So,
read this.
anyways, I'm
Hmm?
gonna try it. I'm gonna try the
Sounds good,
Findus
honey.
minestrone. See what the story is.
We're
Why not?
traveling to Palermo on Easter. Will the weather be warm there? Will stores be open the Monday after Easter? Totally agree about driving license issues, dumb business wise. So let me just say, so it has been a little bit unusually cold in Sicily right now, but it is getting warmer. Easter should be warmer as well. Will stores be open on Monday after Easter? Nope, that's a holiday. Little Easter. And yeah, the drivers, the thing is a pain in the butt.
In the touristic areas, they are open, obviously, uh, and the marketos are usually open for half a day till 12 o'clock. Then
Hmm
they close. Okay,
But
banks are closed.
many of them are closed, Al. Many of them are
Yeah,
closed.
gas stations are open. They're not all closed, and the same thing with Pontificios. Usually, they even work on Christmas, Esther. So they usually open up till noontime. So if you're coming in, Joe, get your shopping done
Yeah.
earlier rather than later because you won't be things will be closed for that day.
Are
Just
there
my own
any
opinion.
third-party agencies that help expats get their license? So I don't want to harp on the pot, but I find it fascinating. I'm sure there are. I mean, I'm sure that if there needs
You
to
need
be
to
there needs to be a market for that.
listen. Listen. You have to find a good uh, auto school. It's very simple. Okay. Now read between the lines what I'm telling to you. If you have a good auto school that's been around for a long time, then the proprietor probably can grease the skids successfully, I may add, for you. Okay, so I would say go to an auto school. And they also have that book, the question book for the test, and you have to send away for it. It's like 10, 12 euro. That's bilingual, so it's in English and it's in Italian, but the test is given in Italian. So what you have to do is memorize the Italian. Okay, but it's a theory test, and it's bizarre. It's not like the United States, and a lot of the rules of the road are fundamentally different. So that's just my own opinion about that. I'm not going to advise you to break the law by any stretch of the imagination, but there are different ways to skin the cat. And don't
Jody,
get that European. Don't get that European driving license. That's bull crap. Got
Jody
nothing
bought
to
a
do with
kilo of
Italian.
fava beans at her favorite vegetable stand, and she's going to make the fava bean
Huh.
soup that you guys showed on YouTube. Can't wait to see and hear how that turns out. Connie Milano. Connie Milano.
I love Connie
Driving
Milano. There is
license,
a woman right there.
driving a license, a nightmare. I drive on an international license, and when I get stopped, I do off and I say turista. You didn't hear it here. You did not get that advice here.
Connie Milano. She, Connie, can you do me a favor? I really love this woman. She's a good person. She's out in Etna, and I think she has a B&B there,
Yes,
doesn't she?
she's out in
And she's
Enna. Yes.
very outspoken. I really, we had a long chat one time. I really like this woman. Connie, why don't you go ahead and post on the website for your B&B, and I will definitely say that there's nobody better to show you around Etna for a good place than Connie Milano. That's for sure. Okay? A little shout out for Connie today.
Sounds good.
Okay?
All right, listen, you guys. So I'm back in Boston, and I brought some goodies for you guys. A lot of you know that I still have the sterling silver Trunakis, which we have about 8 of them left. So I have those. But I also have these one of a kind, handmade
Oh,
Trunakis. Here's one. Here's two. Here's three. And one more. These were made by my friend Fulvio. Handmade. He signed them in the back and he even put Catania. I have only these 4 available. They're great to hang up anywhere around the house or even as a Christmas tournament. So I only have these 4 left. So message me if you are interested. So I love bringing
they're
these little goodies.
indestructible.
They're
They're made
ceramic.
out of terracotta. Yeah, they're ceramic, hardened ceramic, hardened terracotta. You can put them outside too, like we have them on our deck.
Mhm.
I have 2 of them out here for years. Actually, we have 5 of them out here for years. They don't fade or anything. They're really. If you're Sicilian, you're gonna like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're very beautiful. And the uniqueness of it is that, each one is made in a different format. And I always look, what I always look at is the Medusa in the middle. I always like to see the face because all of them have different faces, Look
Right.
at this one. And I really, really enjoyed that. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Now, continuing on a little bit about tips when coming to Sicily and Italy, which I found very interesting at the airport in Istanbul when I went to get my visa. And this reminded me of how important cash is. So for those of you guys who don't know, I spent 24 hours in Istanbul because I missed my connecting flight to Boston, and I had to get a visa to get out of the airport to go to the hotel. And the place inside the airport only accepted cash for the visa. So thankfully, I had both dollars and euros, but he would not take a credit card. Imagine what trouble I would have been. I would have had to sleep on the floor of the airport. But also in Sicily, cash is king. A lot of the mom and pop places still only accept cash. And sometimes they have those little white machines that are like white boxes that run on the internet and they accept credit card. But guess what? What if the internet's down? What are you going to do? So I would say one of the big advice is that reminded me at the airport in Istanbul, always have cash on you, always. Obviously, they're not going to accept dollars. So when you come here, come with a few euros at hand as well. So that's my
You
next
could
big tip.
you could buy the euro at the airport if you want. You get basically screwed, glued, and tattooed when you buy it in the States. There's like 7% extra. But I think maybe a couple €100 is all you need. That said, when you come here into Sicily, when you land, right at the airport, there are ATM machines, and you can get cash out of the ATM machines. It's a very good rate right now. Right now, the rate I just did five
I
hundred
think it's
bucks
110.
euro today. It was 580 80 US dollars. What is it? 10%?
I think it's 110.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
good
think
time
it's
to be
110.
stockpiled. For those of you who are expats in Sicily, my suggestion is it's a good time to stockpile euro. Buy euro with the US dollars because you're going to save at least 4 or 5% right now. Okay, who knows how it's going to be in 6 months, but it's very good. The exchange rate is very good. Thank
Yeah,
God. Okay, thank God for us because that's going to help us as tour operators to compensate for the extra money we're getting screwed for gas and all this other stuff that we have to pay.
yeah,
Because these bus drivers, they have to get paid for their buses, and uh, so our bus driver was telling us it cost him 1,000
1,000.
euro extra to fill up. He has a at his yard. He has a big tank, so we can gas up. An extra 1,000 euro. So guess what? He's got to pass that cost on to the customers like us. So
Yeah.
it's just it's a
You know,
hard thing right now.
oh, which dog is out?
That little dog that I would like to. I like that dog a lot.
Okay,
That's that
stop.
little black dog outside. What do you want me to say to you? He'll shut up
The
sooner
other,
or later.
the other thing about banks and getting out money, that banks are not everywhere. They're not like at every street corner. They're uh, banks are far. You have to go to a place and know where the bank is. There aren't a million banks like there are in the United States. So that's a really important point too, just to make
Well,
sure in
that's
case,
especially so
yeah, in case
if
you're
you're in a
going
small
to a
town.
small town. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But it's a lot better than it was, Esther. That's all I want to say. It's a lot better than it used to be. You couldn't even find an ATM 20 years ago.
for
Honestly,
sure.
it was
Uh,
it was terrible.
Magdaster, email me, send me a message. Would love to send you one. The other thing that's so interesting, Alfred, before I left, that I was noticing a lot, there's a lot of construction going on all over the place. I know it's part of it is the super bonus from the European Union, but there's a lot of construction going on, new buildings, roads everywhere. I mean, going up to Taormina, in Giardini Naxos, there was huge construction of roads. There's also new highways and bypasses. I think there's a new road being constructed when you go from Catania to Palermo. So that road down in Enna, you have to take a detour. So be prepared when coming here to Sicily. In fact, last year, 2021, they began a big construction project from Catania to Siracusa, and it took an extra 30 to 45 minutes to get through that area. So be aware of that.
Here's what the bad part about that is for expats. I'm also talking a lot to expats today because a lot of expats who living in Sicily. It's very difficult right now to get tradesmen to come to your house. Why is that? Is because most of them are busy with all this extra money that's come in from the European Union. So a lot of them are busy, ranging from plumbers to electricians, guys like that. So you have to be very, very
Yeah.
careful. One of the best things to do is once you get a hold of a guy, charm him. I'm serious. Take his money, take his name down, his number down, put it in your speed dial, and give the guy a tip. If you give the guy a tip, and I'm serious, I give €20 tip, and they remember that I gave €20 tip. So the next time they come over, they come over. They don't say, "Oh, I'm going to come over," and then they don't show up. So I think that's one of the things is that be nice, but buy them, buy their loyalty. They need the
Listen,
money.
Alfred, tipping is a good idea no matter what service, whether
Yeah,
you're
you're
in
right.
restaurants, you're getting your nails done or whatever. And it's not because you're trying to buy them, it's because you appreciate their work. That's my view. I tip people because I appreciate their work, even if I don't see them again. Buy something extra. And to be quite honest with you, the what they charge in Sicily is far less than what they charge in the United States. So I want to give them, make sure that they get earn what they worked for. And a lot of these guys work very, very, very hard. So, and they're not getting paid a lot by the companies that hire them. As you recall, Alfred, our massage therapist and the woman who does our manicures and pedicures was working for a hotel that I'm not going to name in Catania area. And she was working for 1 hour doing massage, getting €8 an hour from them. I said to her, Lucia, how can you make ends meet? How do you do just for your gas to get there? You make this little. And so, we pay her much more than that. But I want to make sure that these people get what they deserve. And so I always tip very well as well. So, but you know, as Alfred said, if you want them to come back or have loyalty to you, tip them even more. But let me tell you, Connie, Findus has the best frozen peas, but you really make your own soup. We make our own soup,
No, we always
Connie.
make our own soup,
We all
Connie.
make our own soup, but I think Alfred just, without me there, he has to buy the frozen stuff. I'm just kidding.
Listen, right
Uh,
now, for the next month, right? If you think I'm gonna slave over a hot stove, you're nuts. That ain't happening. Because for me, I really can't tell the difference between fresh stuff and not so fresh stuff because I put a lot of spices in it. So guess what? If I can get out of it where I don't have to empty out my garbage that often. I mean, when you have fresh broccoli or cauliflower, you have no idea how much garbage or whatever it's called. Like we call it hummus. It's the rifute, it's called. It generates between the lettuce and all the stuff that you have to throw away. I don't like that. So I'll buy it out of a bag, put it in there, throw some spices in it, and I'm done. Basta.
Leonard wants to know, Chow, are the Italian citizens getting COVID boosters? How's the COVID
Yeah.
situation in Sicily? Best regards, Leonard. Nice to see you here. The situation, COVID situation in Sicily and much of Italy is going up, but the hospitalizations have stayed very stable or going down. Also, the intensive units and most important number are the number of victims. While way too many, it is staying lower than usual. So if you compare March of this year to March of last year, the number of new cases is significantly higher. But when you compare the hospitalizations, intensive care, and the deaths, they're lower. So uh, hope that
Well,
answered
wait a minute.
your.
The COVID that's hitting the people right now, is like one of those things. It's like a cold, for heaven's sake. It's not. We're not having a bazillion deaths like we did. I was looking on Facebook, all my memories on Facebook, 2 years ago today, and I
Mhm.
couldn't believe the crap that you and I went through, Bunny.
Yeah.
We went through some seriously tense times. Today,
Now,
if someone has COVID,
the strictest European rules anywhere. Italy has
right?
the strictest rules.
It was crazy
They
how they
called it
stepped on our neck here.
draconian. They called it draconian.
If you're over 50 years old, you have to get a booster.
Not
If
anymore,
you
Al.
want to go,
Not after
no, not anymore. Yeah, I
not
mean, right
anymore.
now you do until April 1st, right?
Yeah. And in fact,
Okay.
those going back to work, those over 50 only have to do a test every few days. So the mandatory vaccination is no more after April 1st. So
Wait a minute.
as
They
we
have to
said
do a
at the
test every few days?
up until May 1st. Yes. So as we said at
That's
the top of,
draconian in my view. They have to wait hours in line to get a test.
they have
It's my own opinion.
they've expanded the testing to a lot of places. But you're right. It's a difficult time. A lot of people, if you guys are new around here and don't know, if you're over 50 in Italy, you had to get vaccinated, but that expires at in a couple of months. So it was difficult for a lot of people who didn't want to get vaccinated and wanted to go to work. They didn't lose their jobs necessarily, but they couldn't go into work. And some of them didn't get paid for that period. So it's tough.
Esther wouldn't let me go food shopping 2 years ago. Okay. She says, I'm going by myself because I'm younger than you are. And I
Wait a second,
remember
wait a second, wait a
how
second.
stressed out. Let me finish, okay? I'll
Well,
tell
wait
my
a
version of the
second.
story. How stressed out you were, number one, going, I'm talking about during the guts of COVID. How stressed out you were, number one. How, number two, when you came up those stairs to come into the house, you basically took your shoes off. I bombed you with, I don't know what that stuff was that we sprayed on you. And then the highlight of the day, though, was she stripped down and she took a shower. So, I mean, it was good and bad for me.
So what happened, as you recall, Alfred Zappala, is that we could not leave the house. Only one person at a time could leave to
Oh,
go
that's what
to
it
the
was. Yeah, that's right. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was.
and
You know,
not
not,
because I'm younger, but because I wouldn't let you leave the house. Period. End of sentence. But boy,
no,
can you
you wouldn't.
believe
You're
that?
right. You're right.
Can you believe that it's been 2 years since we went through that? And
It,
almost two
it, all
years
they were,
to the date, almost 2 years to the date that this whole emergency will expire.
I remember we had those two people, our last private tour, those two wonderful people. They were in there, they were senior citizens and they were in Taormina. And they actually got stuck here because while they were here, Italy closed down. You remember them? And then we had them
They got
last year.
out.
They came
They
back.
got out. They got out.
They got out, right,
They
right.
got out
But I
just in
can
the nick of
imagine
time.
how stressful that must have been for them. Just ridiculous
Stefania
what we
said
had to go
fresh
through.
minestrone is definitely better than the frozen one, but the Findus has a very good alternative. It's worth it when you haven't time to make fresh vegetables. Yeah, making it fresh. You know what's been so great being here with my mom cooking, that she also loves to make soup. So every single day we have a nice vegetable soup. I can even smell it now because she made it this morning, uh, mix of vegetable soup. So in these times when it's a little bit of chilly, I could eat soup every single day. I'm telling you what. I'll tell you what, every
You
single
know,
day.
this Stefania, I mean, she's your pal over there, but she's now my pal. Do you know that she sends me a text message almost every morning? I think she wants to check to make sure I'm alive. So she just says to me, "How you doing?" Right? In other words, I'm not dead
I
on the
love it.
floor, right?
Thank you very much, Stefania.
I mean, the woman, and she always says to me, "Is there anything you need?" All
She's
right.
so sweet.
Now, never in the history of my existence here in Sicily has anybody ever even cared about my physical health. So in the morning, so now I ask her a question because how do you make your she's an expert cook. So how do you make minestrone? She gives me a recommendation and I'm going to try now this stuff that, is in a bag. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
that's awesome.
She's a
Thank
she's a
you. Thank
wonderful
you,
woman.
Stefania. Stefania, I have to write your note because one of the interviews I did in Istanbul was with a Sicilian girl, and she started speaking Sicilian, and I need a translator. So I'll message you about that. That video, by the way, is coming later this week. It's some
Oh,
interviews
you
with
do.
the
So we're going to have an
Ukrainian.
end of the week special video.
Yep, some interviews with the Ukrainian refugees that I met in Istanbul, and also the sweet little girl Marika from Noto that I met on the way to Boston.
I took a video today for you for your community,
Hmm.
and you have to just download it and put it up on the community. I'll continue on doing those, but can you please tell our audience what the community is and how
The
that works? I would appreciate that.
the
What is it?
community on YouTube is one way of supporting us. And what you do next to the subscribe, there's a join button, and for $1.99 a month, you not only get some behind the scenes videos like that Alfred shot today, but also it's a small way of helping support our YouTube channel. Of course, we come here to you free twice a week on Sundays, on Wednesdays, and sometimes even a third video, which we will have later on this week. So I'm looking forward to that. And a couple of weeks ago,
Don't
I
you
did
have a
my
couple more
fava.
in the can
Yes,
already? Ah, okay.
spinach pie is coming soon, and lots of good stuff.
Well, this is good. So it seems to me that you're in the United States of America doing quite a bit of work for Yumi and Sicily. Am I correct in saying that?
Say that again.
You're doing quite a bit of work for Yumi and Sicily while in the United States of America, right?
Are you kidding? It's all about Yumi and Sicily every day, all day.
I watch Netflix. No, I'm not
Oh,
kidding. I slave away here too, Westy. You know how much I slave away,
I know you do.
right?
All right.
I'm a slave
Connie,
awayer.
what is the name of your Airbnb? So
He
give us
only
the
books
name.
through, but
Expedia
yeah, what's the name of it?
What's the name of it? So when people check uh, on Airbnb, we can send them to you. Okay. All right. A few more minutes, Alfred. And so if you guys have a few more questions, and then your books, Alfred.
Oh yeah. Speaking about my books, I had this great guy from New Zealand contact me. New Zealand. You know what that is? That's far away, right? He says, I want to get you books. So he downloaded my Reverse Immigrant on demand from Amazon.au, and he got the copy of the book. So then he sent me another email. He says, I want to order the other three books. And I said to him, look, if you're in New Zealand, it'll cost you a mint to get the other three books. He says, I don't care. So Jennifer right now is at the post office trying to figure out how much it's going to cost to ship books from Boston to New Zealand. I think that's the farthest point my books have traveled, although I
Cool.
think some people in us, yeah. But Jennifer's back now from her vacation, so I want to get rid of these books. She has 15 sets of books left, and they're $19 a set, my last three books, and she can ship them out next week, whatever. Okay, so this is a good time of the year for us to kind of, Esther's over there. Don't you have a few of those peelers things too that you wanted
Oh,
to
that's
sell?
right. That's right. That's right. The
Thank you.
magic peelers. You guys know what this is? Oh my God. I found this about 4 or 5 years ago at one of the markets here in Sicily, and they make zucchini spaghetti, and there's a zester and all this stuff. And I bought one, and I'm obsessed. Alfred, do I not use this every single day?
Please, please. Hey, by the way, I
Wait a
actually
sec. Let me
ate
show
your
you.
last zucchini that you left here.
So this, you can make zucchini spaghetti. You can also make a julienne. You can make a zester. There's a peeler here. So message me. I only have 7 of these left. Can you even imagine? They're not very expensive. And they're from Italy. So how cool is that?
And
Those are the
and then
things we have.
the last thing I want to yell out for you today is our t-shirts. Okay. Esther's here now, so she can get these t-shirts
Long sleeve
gone.
t-shirts and the hats.
Yeah, the hats we only have red left. We don't have any black left. And you have to check the sizes with her, but I'll give you an extra $5 off if you buy two. So they're $19 each. If you buy the second one, you'll get $5 off plus free shipping.
Okay.
Esther wants to get rid of them, so I want to get rid of them too. So, anyways, that's the last sales pitch we're gonna have. I want to give a shout out to a couple of people.
Mm-hmm.
First person I want to give a shout out to is Peter Schiapoletti. I want to tell Peter that I bought some basil seeds from Portugal. Can you imagine that? Portugal. That's the beauty about the EU. They're on these little pads, little round pads, and they have the seeds already planted in the pad. And all you do is you take the pad and you put it in the sand, and then you water it,
You
and then
gotta
like
show. You
presto.
gotta show us this on Sunday, because I know
Okay,
you don't
Sunday
have
I
it on.
will
Sunday
show
you
it.
gotta show it. And who's the
And there's
second
been some
person?
wonderful. And the second person I want to talk to and say, geez, you've been really good, is Bernie Sapienza.
I'm
Bernie
gonna see him.
Sapienza is going to be, yeah, Bernie Sapienza is coming over here too to see his mother. Bernie Sapienza is our good friend, born in Catania, lives in Boston. his mom still lives in Catania, so he comes over every year. So he's going to hook up with uh, Esther. I guess you got to get a free dinner out of it too. Brava. But I want to hook up with him too. I want to say, Bernie, we found a bunch
I
of
told him.
vineyards for you.
I told him.
It's crazy how many vineyards we found. All right, so
Um,
that's what I want to say.
Paul said, I mentioned Isola della Palme on Sunday. In your opinions, what are the best areas to live in Sicily, but right along the sea? So, Paul, let me just tell you that we have a couple of videos on our channel, maybe even, did I say a couple? Maybe even 3 or 4 best places, best areas, our favorite areas to live in Sicily. If you go to our videos under playlists, they're under Explore Sicily or Expats or even Life in Sicily. Check over there. But how about this? Because we're getting short on time and we could spend an entire hour, which, by the way, we have spent in past episodes on best places to live in Sicily. But let me give you a short answer real quick. Every little town, every little section, every area has a unique, beautiful charm. The best areas to live at are the areas that resonate with you, the areas, the things that you want. So you need to make a list of the things, your priorities. What are the things you want? What are the things you don't want? Like for me, for example, I don't want to live in the city, but I want to be close enough to go to the city. I want to be close enough to go to the water. I want to be in a residential area. So, but you can find these in every area of Sicily. So you just have to make a list, assess what you want, don't want, and make sure you visit all of the areas during different seasons to get a little bit of a taste of what may be a place you want to move to. What do you
I
say,
think that's
Al?
a good that I say that's a good thing. The area between Catania and Taormina is okay, but you can't really. It's rocky beaches. My view is the area south of Setacusa; those are all white beaches. And also on the west coast, they have beautiful white beaches between Palermo
What
and,
if
say,
what if beaches
Castellamare del Golfo.
what if beaches aren't your priority? You know, for me, I don't want
Yeah,
to live inland. One of the things that I don't want is to live inland, so that wouldn't be a preferred area for me. But a lot of people have chosen, like Connie, she lives in Enna. So those are some of the things that to consider. But I would say every area is a great area to live in Sicily. I just we prefer the Catania area to the Palermo area, but there are people that prefer those areas. There's also the south and west
yep.
that have a lot of beautiful areas in the province of Agrigento, for instance, in the province of Trapani. So a lot of great places. Depends what you want. Maybe we should do that for Sunday's show, Al. Spend the
What?
entire uh, spend the entire hour on best places to live in Sicily.
Uh, I'll do whatever you like, Bunster.
We'll
Your
see.
slightest wish, no matter how insignificant, is my very command. But my battery's getting low, so we have to close this guy down today.
All right. Before
Just
we
so you know.
leave, I just want to say
Yeah.
how much I appreciate you guys spending this time with us, all of your support. We love to hear your comments. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are humbled that you chose this time to be here with us. And honey, I miss you.
Finally, I was waiting for almost an hour for you to say that. Bunster, I miss you too. Like I said before, and you can quote me on this, the day you walked into this apartment, you made it into a home. And
Oh,
now you're
honey.
not here. Okay? So that's all I want to say. And what do I usually say? Sabenediga.
Love you guys. Thank
Grazie.
you for watching.
Bye.
Ciao.